name is Adeline Elizabeth Ann Blassingame Coleman. I am the oldest daughter, the middle child of Thelma Davis Blassingame and James Blassingame. My mom, Thelma, died when I was about 3 years old, so it's not a lot that I remember about her. Thank God for her sisters and her husband, who kind of filled me in for a little bit here and there of things about her. Some of Mom's closest friends was my godmother, Estella Davis, no, not Davis, Newton Lane, and Geneva Furby. She has a lot of friends because people come up to me all the time and say, oh, I was a good friend of your mother. But those two, I know, my godmother and Geneva Furby. Okay, yeah, some of the keepsakes that I have. One keepsake of my mom is a copper tone watch my father saved for me and gave it to me when I was about 16, I think it was. Let me know that was my mom's watch, and so I still have that. The other keepsake that I have is a gift that my mom gave to Geneva Furby. It's a gold compact, little powder case, and on the outside of it, she had inscribed to Geneva from Thelma. When Geneva Furby died, her brother found the compact and gave it to me. So I keep that also. That's a keepsake that I have and I cherish. So those are the two things that I have from my mom. Yeah, my dad says that she loved to dress me up. That one time they went on a company picnic, my father's company picnic, and she changed my clothes so many times, and that the people were always admiring how clean I was, how neat I was. Because she had all these outfits, I guess she just wanted to show me off. She kept changing my clothes I don't know how often or how many times, but Daddy said she gave me so many different outfits to put on in one day.
Okay. Your memory of your Aunt Ruth Davis, what did y'all used to call her?
Aunt Sister. They always called her Baby Sis. And so we always grew up calling her Aunt Sister. Aunt Sister was, you never have favorites, but Aunt Sister was Aunt Sister. The Christmas, before she passed, it was Christmas Eve, she came and she got us, my brother and my sister and myself, and took us to the house. She apologized because she hadn't seen us for a while. We were growing up, and she wanted to make good and make sure that she was closer to us than she had been. She gave us autographed pictures when they were at the Apollo and took us to the house, and we spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, part of early morning Christmas. We spent the night over there and had just lots of fun, laughing and talking. They made us go to bed because Santa Claus was coming, and we couldn't be awake because the Sandman would put sand in our eyes and all that. We had so much fun that Christmas, and I felt like it was going to be the beginning of a new time for us, us kids and my aunts. But that following January the 2nd, and Sister died, and it was really hard for me because we had just gotten close again. And then it was like 12 years after my mother passed, my Aunt Sister passed. So. And Freda, I think she was the late preacher. Freda, she would preach and make you laugh. She preached a sermon one time to us about goodness and mercy, and how goodness and mercy was supposed to meet Jesus at the cross. When Jesus got to the cross, he said, where is goodness and mercy? Goodness and mercy supposed to follow me all the days of my life. It was so funny. We never forgot it. A lot of things that Freda did was just funny. After I got married and moved away, I moved back to Philadelphia. We didn't live far from Aunt Freda. They were still in Cambria, and we moved on Silver Street. So she got a chance to be with the kids when she got sick. we were able to go to the hospital and see her and watch God raise her up again. Finally, she passed away, but I was grateful for the time that we had. Her funeral was at Faith Tabernacle, the church I still attend. Reverend Blassingame was the pastor, and at her funeral, Dorothy Norwood was there, and she sang. A lot of famous people showed up, and so it was good memories.
What was the favorite song you loved to hear your Aunt Freda sing?
When Aunt Freda would sing, "Let Us All Go Back to the Old Landmark," it's a certain point there she said, there'd be, how it goes, she said, I can't remember how the song goes. He will hear us, he'll be near us. Something we'll be happy in the service. But there's a whole lot of things she would say. I can't get it together right now. But I love to hear when she would sing that, because she could sing it. And even sometimes now you play the old songs, even with their sister singing. Shine on Me, 12 Gates to the City. Just good music, good old time gospel music. My Aunt Audrey is, her daughter Niecy is the picture image of her mother. And Audrey was kind of short, healthy, round, chubby, but always a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun. I remember the night that she passed, they called us to Temple Hospital. We went to the hospital and we sat there and we were hoping for good news, but they finally came out and told us she had passed away. When Aunt's sister died, it was so funny. When Aunt's sister died, some years before, and Audrey, everybody came to the house, and Audrey was the most dramatic. She passed out. Everybody walking the house to see how the family do, and Audrey kept passing out. So when Freda finally told her she couldn't go to the funeral because she couldn't stay on her feet. But she made it to the funeral, and of course she did pass out, but that was her sister and she loved her. But Aunt Audrey was funny. A lot of fun. When they lived on 6th Street, it wasn't far from a donut place, so they would always give us donuts. When we would go visit them, we would get donuts.
Were you there when they ever rehearsed some of their songs?
Yeah. Curtis would be on the piano at the house, and they would be singing. And Audrey and Freda, Aunt's sister, Jackie Verdell, Gimpy. And we had to be quiet while they rehearsed. But yeah, we could sit there and listen to them sing. Oh my goodness, because they were, quote, the famous Davis sisters, there were people at the house all the time. Reverend C.L. Franklin, his son, Aretha, Dorothy Norwood, Lois Sneed, Rosie Wallace. Rosie Wallace was there a lot. Dorothy Norwood, of course, Shirley Caesar. I mean, the old-time gospel singers were always, if they came in the city, they came to the Davis sisters' house. Henry Davis, my grandfather, my grandfather, I'm told, wasn't in the church, but my grandmother, Lavinia, was. And she wouldn't marry Pop Davis until he came to church and got saved. So Pop Davis came to church, professed salvation, married Lavinia, and that was the end of his going to church. When he would, I don't remember if it was a pipe or a cigar, but it was one of them that he would smoke, and the scent of it was really nice. It must have been the pipe, but sometimes I think it was a cigar. I don't remember, I was little, but he was quiet, unassuming. When he died, they had the funeral at Baker's Funeral Home, and where I was sitting, I could see the coffin and see him lying there, and it was kind of disturbing to me. When they wanted to go and view the body, I didn't want to go. That was my pop, and I didn't want to see him like that. And my brother told me I had to go. By that time, I'm yelling and screaming, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. My cousin came and got me, Johnny Bird. He came and got me. He said, too tight, you don't have to go. And they took me out yelling and screaming, I don't want to go, I don't want to go.
About their brother, Bernard Davis.
Uncle Bernard was quiet, unassuming, never really had a whole lot to say. But Uncle Bernard, and he was always with Aunt Edna. Aunt Edna was the sister who didn't sing with them, but was their sister. And so Junie was Aunt Edna's son. And because my father wouldn't allow us to go to the movies, when we would go over there, Junie and Uncle Bernard would take us to the movies. And we would have a good time. Uncle Bernard finally got sick, and he was in a veterans hospital, and we got word that all the family should come to the hospital. When we were at church that Sunday, my father, my brother, and myself, because Lynn wasn't in church then, and the pastor, who is my uncle, my father's brother, Reverend Blassingame, he called us up to the altar. He had prayer with us. He anointed us with oil. He told us to go to the hospital and take that oil and anoint Uncle Bernard. And when we got there, the family was there, but we followed the instructions and we anointed Uncle Bernard with the oil that had been placed on us. And though he looked really bad, tubes were everywhere, but we followed the instructions that we had been given by the pastor, and we anointed him with the oil that we had been anointed with, and left the hospital. I mean, you know, within time, we stayed around a little bit, but then we left. My sister called me later that night and began to tell me how bad Uncle Bernard looked and how Uncle Bernard was dying. And I said, no, he's not going to die. It's going to be all right. And she was like, you didn't see him, you didn't? I said, yes, I did. I was there. But I can't say something different than what we're praying and believing for. I have to believe what we prayed, and we prayed that God was going to raise him up. And it wasn't long after that, when we went back to the hospital, he wasn't in ICU. He went up there, changed his room. When we got to his room, he was there sitting on the side of the bed eating. God had performed a miracle. And Uncle Bernard lived to walk down the center aisle of Faith Tabernacle Holiness Church at 19th and Susquehanna and show to the people the miracle that God had wrought. He has since passed away, but we thank God for the miracle that we saw that he performed for my Uncle Bernard. The Gospel Music Workshop, I believe, was founded by Reverend James Cleveland. And it was this one year that they honored pioneers of gospel, and they honored the Davis sisters, but we weren't there. Later we found out that Linwood Heath, who worked for Gospel Highway 11, and he does a program honoring the pioneers of gospel. And we were able to find out about that and get in touch with Linwood Heath, and he finally had an interview with my father regarding the Davis sisters. And we met at Warm Daddy's, and we had something to eat, and he interviewed my dad, and then he gave us the award that had been presented on behalf of the Davis sisters for the work that they had done in gospel music, which award I still have. I was just lucky to be the keepsake, the caretaker of the Gospel Music Award to the Davis sisters. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm Thelma Davis' daughter. I'm grateful for the fact that my grandmom Lavinia and my pop Davis, because if it had not been for them, there wouldn't have been a Thelma. If Thelma hadn't married James, there wouldn't be a Beth Ann, which is what most people call me. I thank God, because even though my mom Thelma died when I was only 3 years old, God saw fit to give me another mother. And people say a stepmother, but she raised me and just passed away about 2 years ago. So from the time, I think Mom might have been dead 2 years or so before my father remarried. My godmother said to me, not many people are blessed with two mothers, but you had two good mothers. And it's true. I had two very good mothers. I thank God for that. I think sometimes, you know, when we were little on Mother's Day, we used to wear the flowers. And you would wear a white flower if your mom was dead, and you would wear a red flower if your mom was alive. And I was always feeling conflicted. Should I wear a white flower to remember my biological mother, or should I wear a red flower because my stepmom was here raising me? So sometimes I wore pink because I wanted to always remember that it was Thelma Davis that birthed me. They always teased me because I was born in a Cadillac. So my cousin, Johnny Bird, Junior always called me Miss Cadillac because they were on their way to the hospital and they didn't make it. There was a newspaper article that said Stork beats police to the hospital or something like that. Well, that was me. And so they got me, the closest hospital they got me to was Valley Forge. So when they got the Cadillac, I guess they were on their way to sing, but I wasn't going. I was going to come into this world, and so here I am. And I thank God for the mother that He gave me and the legacy that she left me. I wasn't able to inherit her ability to sing. That skipped me, but it came to one of my sons. And I thank God that Lavinia was a good preacher. Pastor Walker told me before, your preaching came from your mom, from your grandmother. She was always the one on the street preaching. So when I wondered why I was always the one preaching at the street meetings, he says, you got that from your grandmother. Minister Beatrice, what was her name? Smith, Beulah Smith, used to always call me Lavinia. So I have a rich heritage on my mom's side between her and my grandmother, my aunts. I thank God for my mother. I thank God because she gave me that stick-to-itiveness. I'm sure that for a lot of times Thelma faced a lot of things that would compromise her Christianity. But she stayed true to the God she loved, to the God that her mother taught her. And I like to think that I can do that too. No matter what happens in life, I can stay true to my convictions and be the woman of God. I would like to believe that if folks in heaven can look down, that Thelma is looking at me and thanking God for the woman that I've become. And if she's somewhere near Mom B, she could say, thank you, B, you did a good job on raising that one. Well, all of us, really. And so I thank God that one day I'll get to heaven and I'll have two mothers there. And I can thank both of them, one for giving me life and the other one for preparing me for this life. Thank you.